Talking about the laws of the universe is so fun because this truly is a space where we can just take off life and dip into the virtual reality in the vortex. It's like a portal. This channel truly is a portal. And these videos are a portal. They're a portal for clarity, for fun, and just to forget about life. Not because life is bad and because life is evil and then we need to forget about it, because how we create life here. We create reality. We are creators. It's more like it's just a space where we can get replenished, because the vortex is the replenishment mode. When you get into the vortex, you get into the replenishing mode because they're the same, and like it feeds your soul. It feeds your soul, and then you get your take, you get your hit, you get what you need, you get your fix, and then you go off into life and you gallivant and you come to new conclusions and you come back to this space and you get replenished again and you go back out and you gallivant. You come back to this place of replenishment. You remember who you are. You remember what you came here for. You remember that you can have be, do, or have anything. You feel clarity. You feel ready. You go back into life, and it's just ebb and flow. And that's kind of what contrast is. Contrast allows you to know what you don't want, so you know what you do want. And then when you know what you do want, it's like life is, it explodes within you, and then you start the process again. You know what you don't want, you know what you do want, and it truly is the creative process. And I think for me personally, like when I'm journaling, I really feel like I'm one with source, because when my pen is in my hand and I'm writing words, it's not even about the words. It's not even about sitting there and writing for half an hour, because usually I'm writing about law of attraction, I'm writing about stuff like this, but it's more about the feeling. I just feel like time and space completely like collapses. I forget about my life and I just want to stay there forever. I remember being young and loving journaling. I would just write nonsense because the feeling of writing words on a page with like a pencil or a pen, it was like I was with source. I didn't know that, but I just loved writing, and I didn't know that it was because I love source. I was one with source when I was writing. And there's so many there's so many things that people do. Like everyone wants that feeling, and there's so many activities that we do where we naturally feel that. Like for example, walking. When I walk, I feel like I'm in source. I forget about life. And like singers, like when they're singing, actors, athletes, when you're in the zone, when you're doing an activity, you feel like time and space, everything collapses. And it's not that they go away, is that you go right into the replenishment mode. Because when I'm journaling for the half an hour, I forget about time and I journal, and I'm not even, it's not even about the words. I don't really care about the words. I'm just having so much fun writing, and I want to stay there forever, but I know that I can't, because I have it in my head that I have to go back to real life. I have to go back to real reality. And honestly, there's a false premise. There is a false premise at that, because there is no true reality. What's the real reality? Because that type of thinking is what puts you in resistance. Because when you leave the vortex, when you close that journaling, that session, you step into the space of like, okay, like I have responsibilities, I have a real life to attend to. But it's not like that at all, because when you go into the vortex, when you stay in the vortex, things occur to you in the vortex, and then the alignment, the ideas that you get when you're in the vortex is like the difference between a firecracker and an atomic bomb. It truly is that serious. That's the thing, is that serious. Alignment is that serious, and everyone wants to feel like source. Everyone wants to feel like source. That's why you want everything. And so then we say, if you're wanting something, and no matter how big or small it is, it's really when you take time to establish the vibrational essence of your desire by asking yourself why you want it. When you get to the vibrational essence, you're in a really good place. You're in vibrational balance. We've been talking about that a lot. You are in vibrational balance. So now whatever you receive, it's going to be helpful to you, and it's going to be part of your path. You're on your path, and your path is eternal, and your path, you can never miss your path, because it's always being given to you. So you can never get it wrong or get it done. But this vibrational essence, when you realize that, because we've been talking about this, when you realize that you just want it for the connection, you're like, I just want it for the connection. That's why I want to connect for the connection. I want to feel like source. I want to feel time and space. I want to go into that place where the replenishment mode, where time and space just escapes, where time and space doesn't matter, where I forget about where I am. I forget about who I've been and where I've been. It's just me and whatever I'm doing, and it's just me and source. And that's the connection. And then the energy starts to pick up. That's the real momentum. Because when we're doing processes, when we're trying to manifest things, guess what happens? And most times when we're manifesting from a place where we don't believe, we're trying to manifest from a place where we want it to come because we keep noticing it's not here. So we're like, damn, I need it to come faster. What process can I do to make it come faster? But at the base of your vibrational frequency, your vibrational stance is one of absence. You're noticing it's absence. You're like, what can I do to make it not absent? And we're like, you can't do anything because you're wonky. Your vibration is starting at wonky. There's no vibrational balance. So you have to get into vibrational balance. So you get into vibrational balance once you realize that all of this talk, all manifestation is not about what source can give you, because we're not here to talk about if source is going to be able to hand it over. Source is giving it to you, but it's like, why aren't you looking at it? Why aren't you looking in that direction? Where are you in the relation? How come you're not the cooperative component? Because when you start to get into the vibrational balance, then the law of attraction will literally pull you in the direction of your desire, because it's like it's a natural momentum. You set it up, it's in your vortex. So it's not about source, it's about you. It's always about you, because you have free will. You can control your vibration. You can set your vibration, but you're so good at looking at where you are. You're so good at telling the truth. You're so good at looking, being in real life. It's like when you're on vacation, and on the last day of vacation, everyone's asking each other like, oh, tomorrow we're gonna go back to real life. Like, what are you guys saying? And that's not, there's no real life. There's no real reality, because no one can agree on the real reality. No one can agree on the truth. That's why there's so much quote unquote injustice, because no one can agree on the truth, because there are as many truths as there are perceivers of it. So it's giving you have to use your guidance system, because everything is routed for you to go to the vortex for this connection. And it's interesting, because when you ask the basketball players, when you ask the soccer players, when you ask the musicians, when you ask the instrumentalists, when you ask the writers, the painters, when you ask them how they feel when they're writing and they're in the mode of creation of whatever activity it is, they'll describe it. They'll be like, time and space, like I just become one with what I'm doing. It's like every part of my body just feels like possible. It's like I can like, I know all the angles, I know everything, I can compensate for every little action. It's like I turn into a mode of like hyper focus, and I can just remember every detail. I can tend to every detail. I just know things. And we're like, this is literally the vortex. This is a zone, but there's the art of coming into the zone. And what's funny is this is why everyone wants everything, to feel this. And we're like, why don't you, when you're just feeling this, then you get everything faster. Things really start showing up. That's the thing. Things really start showing up, but it's like you're ready for it. You expected it, because you're like, true, because this, I recognize it, because this is how I've been feeling. And so it's just lit. Everything's lit because it's so fun. Creation truly is so fun, because I don't want to be anywhere else. I just want to be here, because I can't, because when I'm over there, when I'm in the future, it's just gonna be another now moment. So I'm here right now, and I'm good, because I have the vibrational balance thing down pat. So now it's like, now what? Now that I understand that it's my desire already exists, I'm pretty much already there. It's not about time for me, because it's only about alignment. Because here's the thing, source, this is not about asking source to hand it over. We're not like, source, do you have it? Basically, your desires are not wonky. You're talking about your desires as if they're iffy. You're talking about your desires as if source is like half, like we're kind of not going to give it to you. You're kind of not serving, so we're not going to give it to you. It's not like that at all. Source is giving it to you. It's there. The frequency exists. But guess what you have to do? You have to go where that frequency is to translate it into sound, into sight, into taste. You have to translate it. And how do you do that? How do you get better at seeing something? You practice seeing it. Seriously, how do you get better at seeing if your desires do exist? And they do, because it's literally the laws of your physics. How do you get better at seeing what's unseen? By first of all, not seeing it as unseen, by practicing your ability to see it. And the way that you practice your ability to see your desire, your billions, your empire, your books, everything, is you have to go in that direction. You have to practice the frequency of it. And we're telling you, the way that you practice the frequency of it is by asking yourself why you want it, and then finding the vibrational essence. And so these conversations are so leading edge, because we're taking thought beyond where it's ever been, from a different perspective, right? And while we do that, it's like we really create almost like it's like a portal, but it's almost not as dramatic. But it's like we create this space where the signal's being beamed and you're receiving. And when you hear the words, when you hear the translation, you just feel the resonance of source right in your solar plexus, and you translate it as like joy and bliss and satisfaction. And if that's how it feels for you, imagine how it feels for us while we're talking. It feels good. It feels like clarity. It feels fun. It feels like I never want this to end. I don't want to go anywhere else, because that's why when you were a kid you picked up that pencil to write. That's why when you were a kid you picked up that paintbrush and started to paint. But then you got in your head that you couldn't do that. You have to go do action. You have to go out into the real world. We were telling you there is no real world. You had to write when you were young, because you were pure positive energy. Before you started listening to them, before you started taking their advice, before you realized maybe they're right because they're older than me. So you gotta get back to that. Everything is just for the feeling of it. Manifestation doesn't matter, because it's only about what your meaning is to it, and you create the meaning. You're the creator of your reality. It's all about meaning, and it's just fun. It's fun, but I think it's better actually that we don't stay here forever. We don't stay in the journaling space. We don't stay in the vortex forever, because if we were there forever, then we would get bored and we'd be like, what's next, right? And also if we were there all the time, we wouldn't know how good it felt. It's truly a relational experience when you know what feels when you know what feels bad and you know what feels good. And so it's like in all this, like I'm lost. What does found feel like? What are we ready for? We're ready to receive. But not only are we ready to receive, we're ready to have fun along the way. We're ready to know the formula and use the formula all the time, and just know that we're so worthy that we can create anything, because we can go into that state. We can go into that vortex. We can go into that replenishment mode. And how do you do that? How do you go into this replenishment mode? You literally do things that you know that you like. You follow your bliss. Joseph Campbell said that. He was a real one. He literally told us what to do. He was like, follow your bliss. Go do the activities that you know you like doing. Like, go on walks. Because when you're walking, when you're listening to the music and you're walking, you're literally one with source. Because you know what's funny? Everyone wants that. Every single theory in the world, every person has been talking about source, but no one has been saying it in this clear way, which is you're literally source. It's not that hard. It's actually not even that difficult, because you know when you know that when you know the fullness of source, when you're depressed, when you're angry, when you're convinced that life is, you're not a creator of your reality, when you're disappointed, when you feel powerlessness, that's when you really know the true feeling of source, because you're feeling the absence. So it's this relational thing. And so it's just amazing. And I love contrast, because it's like the best part, because there's no one piece of the puzzle that just makes it all happen, because it's calibration. It's knowing that there's a frequency that you want, isolating it, and then practicing it. That's what calibration is. So it's like you have to fall in love with that process, because you're always going to be calibrating. You're always going to be in a reality where there's contrast everywhere. And so it's like source is just laughing, because source is like the reason, like, why would you think a thought that you don't want to think? Why would you think a thought that doesn't feel good? And you're like, because it's true. Because I would be crazy to not, evaluate reality. I would be crazy to always be, in La La Land and daydreaming and not be responsible. I won't be a responsible person. And source is like, we wouldn't do that if we were you. If we were you, we would go follow our bliss. Joseph Campbell said that. He said, go follow your bliss. Follow what feels good. Go journal. Because when you're journaling, you're literally one with source. You're literally one with source. So you and source are literally in that moment. And what's more powerful than that? What is more powerful than being one with source? You are one with source. So be one with source. It's who you are. It's like, that's when life gets fun, when you really become one with source. And it's crazy that these are the conversations are about, because this is where this is the true essence of law of attraction, is understanding that we live in an attraction world. You need to learn how to mold your thoughts so that you're allowing the most of source, because when you allow the most of source can tell you what to do. And when source tells you what to do in the form of an impulse, you follow it, the path unfurls, you feel worthy, and it just repeats over for all of eternity. There's nothing more sublime and better than being in this physical body and being in that state of hyper focus, of where time and space completely evaporates around you, and it's just you and whatever you're doing. Because whatever you're doing, your source is focusing with you. Source is focusing through you. You truly become the extension of source that you're meant to be. Wow, you truly become the extension of source that you're meant to be. It's time for the energy to ramp up. It's time, because we think you're ready, and you've been ready. You're ready to get everything. Cash in those vibrational chips. It's time for you to allow the thoughts to turn into things, and now you know how to do it. Because you already have a lot of whatever you're looking for. The money, you have the freedom. You have the freedom to think whatever you want. You have the freedom to choose whatever song you want in the library. You have the freedom to watch any video that you want on YouTube. You have the freedom. Find the things that you already have, the things that you truly want, and it has to start showing up. The vibrational essence has to start showing up, because it's the law. And so it's really good, because you have source energy, and source energy has this powerful ass momentum. And that's why when bad things happen, source doesn't look. Source is like, we don't look there, because why would we look at it? Because we know that it'll fix itself, because we're in the solution mode. So source is saying that you shouldn't look there either, because when you look there, you lose your connection, because source is not looking there with you. So you're on your own. Source is like, come with us. It's calling you. This call is eternal, and you're meant to be in that replenishment mode. Because when you're in that replenishment mode, when you're journaling, every cell of your body is being rejuvenated. Your whole soul is being rejuvenated. You feel different. You feel full. You feel ready. You feel how you did when you came into this body. You just feel almost like you're not empty, but you just feel so non-resistant, because when you go into these states, well, not states, but when you go into the receiving mode, into this replenishment mode, that's what happens. You get replenished, and then naturally you go back into the quote-unquote real world, and you just start up everything. You just start up all the old stories, and it's like blah blah blah, we know, but you're doing very good for yourself, and it's just lit. We love this space that we've all crafted, because it's truly a co-creation between all of us. And for now, we are complete.